Color grading is a very unique and artistic skill. Today, however, we're just talking about color grading footage, stock footage, to increase your sales, to make sure that your clips are in the right format to attract the most buyers. I've had a number of comments about people asking how to do color grading for stock video. I've also been asked about time lapses and hyperlapses. I decided to put these in two different videos but release them at the same time. If you're interested in time lapses and hyperlapses, please watch this video up here or watch it after this one. In this video, we're just talking about stock footage. I am not, I need to say in the beginning, an expert at color grading. You don't need to be, because all we're doing is taking footage and making sure it is at Rec 709. Rec 709 is the standard for stock video and for a lot of formats that people use. If you shoot in a standard profile, in other words, if you're not adding a color profile when you film with a fancy camera, with a prosumer camera, then you really just need to make sure that your exposure, your white balance, your shutter speed, your focus, your frame rate, all of that is in harmony, and out of the camera you will have Rec 709. I still suggest that you add a little bit of contrast and a little bit of vibrance. The way that I suggest you do that is not with a contrast slider. Go to the white and black slider, a little bit down below in most editing programs. Turn the whites up, watch the scopes. Turn the whites up so that they're near the top and the blacks down so that they're near or even a little bit below the bottom. This to me is a better way to add contrast than with the contrast slider. You can also add a little bit of vibrance, but I suggest you do not overdo that. The exception is with sunsets, sunrises, or just footage that is particularly colorful or has an opportunity to be very dramatic. But when you're doing normal scenes, indoors, with models, locations, establishing shots, you don't want to overdo it because you're baking in too much color. If you're shooting with a standard profile, that's all you need to do. If you're shooting in log or raw of some kind, I have a simplified format. Again, I'm not a colorist expert, but I have sold over $45,000 of stock video assets. So this is what I do. It's very simple. Anyone can do it. You don't have to be an expert. I'm certainly not an expert. Let's go to the computer and I'll show you how I do it.
Okay, first thing I do, and you might have a lot of these, you may have done a lot of clips in the same shoot, and that's fine. First thing I do is click in this part of the screen if you're on Premiere Pro, and add an adjustment layer. You don't need to do this if you're just doing one clip like I am here, but presumably you'll have a lot of clips and they may be from different scenes. So the first thing I'm going to do is select the adjustment layer and put a LUT on it. The reason that I put a LUT on it is it just makes it fast. To me, you need to be able to do this fast. So when you go to the Lumetri color, if you're in Premiere Pro, whatever you're on, just adapt this to the editor that you use. And I want to look at the scopes. And you can see that log footage compresses the data to be in the middle of the spectrum. This spectrum is specifically set for Rec 709, which is the standard for stock video. It's a standard for many things. It's a general standard, which is why we color grade to Rec 709, and you can see that all of the data is compressed here. So all we're going to do is stretch it out. The easiest way to stretch it out for me is to add a LUT. You can get a LUT from the maker of your camera. Almost all of them have LUTs that you can download for free. You can also buy them. So this S-Log3 Sony Cube is the one that I use for this camera in this profile. And you can see that now I added that to the adjustment layer, and you can see the difference that it made pretty quickly. We'll do undo, and I'll show this better. So you can see that it made the basic general correction. If I'm doing a lot of clips, I I will now switch down to the video itself instead of making things to the adjustment layer, instead of making changes to the adjustment layer. You continue, if all your clips are shot in the same location and using the same basic settings, then you can put all of your adjustments on the adjustment layer, and then you just drop your clip in here. You can see that if I took this out and then put it back in, it's going to be the same. So if all your clips are shot in the same conditions, you can put all your adjustments in the adjustment layer, and if not, I would go down here. You can see the data has been stretched out a little already. That's pretty good, but we want to use the full spectrum. This is the full spectrum of Rec. 709. So let's use it to the best of our ability. This is just faster. I don't want to make this any more complicated than it is. And the goal for me is to put in thousands of clips. So to me, this is the best and easiest way. So I then, to add contrast, I'll put the whites up, and you can see how I'm stretching them to the top of the spectrum. They kind of floor out there, so to me that's near the top, and then for the blacks I'll go the other way and I'll bring those down to the bottom of the spectrum. And right there you can say that you're done. In fact, on this one I would say I'm almost done. With a person in here, this person is me, so this is just a clip where I'm talking on the phone on a balcony in a big city. With a person, it's best to adjust to their skin tones, and to me this looks a little bit warm. So let's zoom into 100% and go over to where my skin is, my skin tones, and to me that looks a little bit warm. I only have two colors, pink and red, but to me this looks a little bit warm. So what we can do is just take this down, to me that right there, not very much. And you can also see if you want to add a little bit of saturation. We've added contrast with the white and black sliders. I would not add contrast with a contrast slider. I don't think that looks as natural, but you can do whatever you feel looks best. If you want to add saturation in this program, I would go to vibrance and I would adjust it there. You just don't want to adjust it so much that anything looks unnatural. So we have added a little bit of saturation there. And then if we fit this to screen, and for video, that's all I would do. This is the profile that people are going to buy over and over again. It's the standard profile for all video. Some people will say it's best to upload log. I just don't agree. Let's take the log away. You can't tell if the color, exposure, or white balance is correct. Don't upload log. Some people in the comments will say it's best to upload log. Your log video is not going to sell unless you're putting it on high-end sites where they're asking for log, in which case they download it, they see how they want to color grade it, and they go on from there. Here's why Rec. 709 does not hurt people. Here's Rec. 709 just as I did it. I just added a LUT, and I can use the slider here, and I can make this LUT as harsh as I want. You can still add LUTs, and you can still color grade. Even professional movie Hollywood films, they can still color grade this to their heart's content.
I really enjoy making these videos, and I appreciate all those who watch, comment, and participate in our little community. Thank you.